So hey guys, things have been insanely busy around here. Yeah, it's a good thing, I guess, but it seems like every fall, every spring, we have these peaks. You know, it's getting stuff in or getting stuff out, and you're just battling to keep your head above that water. And that's kind of where we are right now. I've hardly been online. I have been reading all your comments, but I just haven't had a chance to respond to them. I will be hopefully getting caught up on that in the next couple weeks here as we kind of progress along. A lot of projects going on, and a lot of projects up and coming here, and I thought I'd better turn on the camera and share some of them with you. Garden stuff. We don't end up moving a lot of stuff outside until the end of May just because of the temperatures here in Minnesota and getting over the risk of frost and stuff. So a lot of stuff going on inside with our seed starters, getting them moved to bigger pots, and some of that fun stuff. Wild asparagus is finally starting to pop around here. Wild asparagus always seems to come up a little bit later than the stuff in your garden because it's not sitting out there in the nice sun exposure. Generally tends to grow along a lot of the farm fields and in the ditches, which we have plenty of around here. They're starting to finally pop up. Some of these are already pretty big.
You have to walk in there. See it right there? Nope. Actually, that is one. Yeah. It's a tiny one. Right there.
I found one. Right here.
Good job.
Here, Mama.
There's one, yeah.
And they're just starting to pop. We now got our first harvest the other night. Came home, threw it right on the stove, and cracked a beer and had a little 8 o'clock asparagus and beer. Couldn't beat that. There's probably nothing that beats wild asparagus. So we got that coming here over the next 2 to 3 weeks, trying to harvest as much as we can and get that stuff in the freezer. So that's a pretty fun, exciting thing. Let's see what else we got going on. 50 meat birds should be showing up here in another 9 days. So I got a lot of work. Well, not a ton of work, but I got to start getting a brooder box set up, get the heat lamps all dialed in so the temps are all right. So when they do show up, we can just plop them in. They'll be all happy campers. That should be pretty fun and exciting. Last weekend, I ended up going down to the neighbor's house. It was a little surprise visit. He stopped over and asked if I could get the rest of this basswood tree cleaned up. Last spring, I went down there and cleaned up this enormous basswood tree. And he had me leave a couple of the logs behind he was going to go get milled. And then he ended up getting a pricing for that. And basswood's a pretty soft wood, so he changed his mind on that. I don't remember if it was like $1 or $2 per linear foot or something like that. So it just wasn't worth it to him. And he said, well, why don't you get that out of there? So I didn't turn on the camera because I figured you guys have all seen me cut firewood a million times. And I figured it wouldn't be all that fun and exciting. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure I turn on the camera next time. So got that going, which is good because I haven't really had a lot of time to get out and harvest a lot of firewood yet this year. I mean, we do try to keep a 3-year supply, so I do have all summer long to kind of dork around and get that stuff going, but just haven't really put in a lot of time yet. So let's see what else is going on. Pigs weren't supposed to be here until the end of May. However, we got a call today and said they're going to be showing up tonight. So it was a hurry up and scramble and get the pig pen set up. If you guys are pretty new to this channel or haven't really followed along since last fall, basically the way we do it is we go in with a handful of neighbors. We all raise them at one person's property. Then come fall time, the guys kind of get together. They take care of the dirty work. And then the following day, after everything's hung in the barn overnight, October, temps are getting pretty cold, so that meat firms up pretty good. And then everyone gets together and puts in their share. Someone might be wrapping the meat, and someone will be cutting, someone else will be running the meat bandsaw and all that stuff, and it makes for a real good process. I think last year, it was only a couple hours in reality for us to process 5 pigs between everybody. It was a pretty quick and easy, painless process. So anyways, I'll just take you guys over real quick and just give you a real quick tour of the pig pen, the way we set up. So a little bit about the setup or the location. We basically wanted it somewhat close to a water source. We do have a hydrant in our pole barn, so that allows us to fill their water rather quickly. We also wanted it to be located east of our house since the wind is most of the time blowing out of the west and pigs can get pretty stinky. We also wanted it somewhat close to our garden so we can easily throw our scraps in there. So one other thing we wanted is a little bit of garden space on the south side so we could place corn there. That way it'll provide them a little bit of shade as we move into the hotter summer months. So we really don't do anything too fancy. We just pound in a bunch of T-posts, about 3 or 4 per panel, and we make sure the T-posts are sitting on the outside for extra strength. We do have some cattle panels mixed in here. Really the main difference between hog panels and cattle panels, well, cattle panels are a little bit more thicker, but they also have a larger opening towards the bottom where the hog panels are tighter so the little small piglets can't slip through. However, I think these little piglets are big enough that we shouldn't have an issue. For the feeder, it's pretty much a box that holds about 150 pounds of grain with a little flip lid. They learn rather quickly on how to open that up, especially once they catch the wind of the smell. And it works pretty nice because it helps keep the rain and the birds and other items out of that feed. And for our water, we use a 50-gallon drum with 2 nipples on there. These ones were brought up originally with these, so they already have this figured out, but they often learn this rather quickly as well. And then we put some little shelter in there with a little bit of hay to help keep them warm and keep them out of the rain, as well as keep them out of the sun. We basically have the opening facing the north. That way it provides them shade in the hot summer months. One other thing we throw in there is a stump. They like to rub up on that, and it helps keep them away from just constantly rubbing along the panels.